You look in the mirror and all you see is fat. You pinch your waist, hide behind clothes, curse your reflection. But what if your body isn't the enemy? What if the extra weight isn't fat, but protection? What if you're not overeating because you're out of control, but because you've been in pain for too long? Maybe you're not broken, you're bruised. And the food is just a temporary bandage on an old open wound. They told you it's about calories, about willpower, but they never asked, what are you trying to silence when you eat? Because no one overeats joy. We overeat loneliness, rejection, shame. The truth is hard to hear. You're not fighting your body, you're fighting the invisible pain no one helped you process. And until someone says this out loud, you'll keep calling yourself fat, when what you really are is deeply, silently wounded. You eat when you're sad. You eat when you're bored. You eat when you're angry, anxious, empty. But you don't eat because you're hungry. You eat because something inside you hurts, and no one taught you how to face it. You smile at the world, but cry on the inside. You joke about your cravings, but deep down, you feel ashamed. You promise yourself every night, tomorrow I'll be better. But every tomorrow ends in the same regret. And that voice in your head, the cruel one, calls you weak, disgusting, broken. But you're not broken. You're just tired of carrying pain in silence. Tired of being strong all the time. Tired of pretending that the weight you carry is only physical, when the truth is, it's emotional. You don't need another meal plan. You need to be heard by yourself. Because this isn't about discipline. It's about healing. And no one can diet away a wound that was never given a chance to bleed. Somewhere along the way, you learn to be the good one, the quiet child, the responsible teen, the strong woman. You learn to hold back your tears, to shrink your emotions, to survive by pleasing. No one asked how you felt, they only praised you for being in control. So you became an expert at hiding your chaos behind smiles. And when it hurt too much, you found something that didn't judge you. Food. Food became comfort, safety, silence. It didn't shame you. It didn't abandon you. It was always there when people weren't. But here's the truth. You never had an eating problem. You had a feeling problem, a repression problem. Freud would say, you're not feeding your hunger. You're feeding everything you've been forced to suppress. The binge is just a symptom. The real root is buried in your story, in all the moments where you weren't allowed to feel, to scream, to be. She woke up every morning already hating herself. The day hadn't even started, and her mind was already loud. You failed again. You have no control. You'll always be this way. She'd promise, today I'll be different. But by nightfall, the kitchen light was on, and her hands were trembling. One bite, then another. Not because she was hungry, but because, for a few seconds, the pain disappeared. For a few seconds, she didn't feel alone. She didn't hear the voices. She didn't have to be perfect. And then came the guilt, the disgust, the silent crying. What no one saw was this. She wasn't eating to ruin herself. She was eating to escape herself, to forget everything she had been forced to hold in for years. The weight she carried wasn't just on her body. It was on her shoulders, in her chest, in her history. She wasn't weak. She was just trying to survive, the only way she knew how. You lose a little weight and gain it all back. Not because you're lazy, but because no one taught you that the weight isn't the real issue. You punish your body, restrict, starve, then you break. Eat everything. Feel worthless. Then you start again. New plan, new rules, new pain. This is the cycle that eats you alive. Pain, restriction, binge, guilt, pain again. And each time you fail, your inner voice gets crueler. See? You'll never change. But the real problem isn't your discipline. It's the war inside your mind. The part of you that wants to heal, fighting the part of you that never felt safe. Every failed diet cuts deeper. Every relapse makes the shame heavier. And slowly, you stop believing you can ever be free. This isn't about food anymore. It's about a soul that's tired of fighting itself in silence. And while no one sees the battle, you feel it every single day. But what if the problem was never your body? What if your body is just trying to speak, and food was the only language it had left? What if instead of fighting your cravings, you started listening to them? What if you stopped declaring war on your body and started asking it, what are you trying to protect me from? Your body isn't broken. It's brilliant. It held your pain when your heart couldn't. It gave you comfort when no one else did. It carried you through nights you thought you wouldn't survive. And now, it's asking for peace. This is your turning point. Not another diet. Not another promise to start again Monday. But a deep, honest decision to stop punishing yourself and begin understanding yourself. Because the more you listen with empathy, not shame, the less food needs to scream for attention. You don't need to control everything. You need to reconnect with yourself, with your hunger, with your truth. Here's where you begin. Write without filter. Every time you binge, stop and write. Not what you ate, but what you felt. Anger, loneliness, fear. Let the emotion speak louder than the food. Ask, is this physical hunger or emotional hunger? If it's emotional, feeding it won't fix it. But naming it might. Break the guilt loop. One bad moment doesn't ruin your worth. One binge doesn't erase your healing. Forgive fast and stay present. Practice gentle rituals. Slow down meals. Light a candle. Breathe before eating. Treat food as nourishment, not punishment. Allow imperfection. You won't get it right every time. But every time you pause instead of punish, you're already rewiring your mind. Healing isn't about control. It's about compassionate awareness. And that begins today, not with less food, but with more truth. Close your eyes. Imagine there's a little girl sitting in the corner of your mind. She looks like you, but younger. She's quiet, scared, holding back tears. She's been alone for a long time. She's the one who ate in secret, the one who smiled while aching inside, the one who was told to be good when all she wanted was to be held. Now, walk toward her. Don't rush, don't fix, just be there. Sit beside her. Put your hand on her back. Whisper softly, I see you now. Maybe she'll cry. Maybe she won't look at you yet. That's okay. She doesn't need discipline. She needs safety. And every time you eat, to numb the pain, you're really trying to comfort her. So next time the urge comes, pause and ask, is it hunger or is she asking to be heard? The more you listen to her, the less she'll need to scream. You are not a failure. You are not broken. You are not the one who always messes up. You are a human being carrying more pain than anyone ever noticed. And still, you're here. Still trying. Still searching. Still brave enough to listen. You are not your binge. You are not your weight. You are not the numbers on a scale. You are the courage it takes to face the pain instead of numbing it. You are the softness returning to a heart that hardened just to survive. You are the moment of pause before the pattern. The deep breath before the reaction. The the quiet decision to respond with love instead of shame. Every time you choose understanding over punishment, you step out of the old version of yourself and into the one who's finally free. Not perfect, but present. Not skinny, but safe. You're not the wound anymore. You're the one learning how to heal. If this touched something inside you, it's not by accident. Maybe this is the first time someone put your pain into words. Maybe for the first time, you realize you're not out of control, you're unheard. You're not addicted, you're aching. You're not lazy, you're exhausted from pretending you're okay. You don't need another strict plan. You need a safe place to land. And if this video felt like that, then stay. This channel isn't here to sell you perfection. It's here to remind you that you're not alone, that your story matters, that your healing is possible, one honest breath at a time. Like this video. Leave a comment, even just a me. Subscribe, and let's keep walking together into the parts of you that were never meant to be buried. You are not too much. You are not too late. You're just finally being seen. And here, that's more than enough.